Kia ora. Some weeks back there was a pretty great clearance sale in which I was able to get this Star Wars Junior's Jedi Temple for close to the price that it actually should have always been, around 48 bucks. This is the 2023 release of the LEGO Star Wars Tenoo Jedi Temple based on the Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures kids show on DisneyPlus. This has 124 pieces, and LEGO have the goddamn audacity of charging 75 NZ dollars for this. Here's what 75 NZ dollars can get you: a double date for you and someone else to see both Barbie and Oppenheimer at Reading Cinemas with $23 left over. A pre-owned copy of Star Wars Jedi Survivor on PS5 for $2 more than what this set costs. 2 adult tickets to the Auckland Sky Tower. A ticket to the Weta Workshop's Unleashed tour with $15 left over for lunch. How about some better LEGO sets? The LEGO Store, Escape from the Lost Tomb, Tales' Workshop and Tornado Plane, anything from the Minecraft line. $75 for this is absolutely ridiculous, and it's sets like this that we need to have some public discussions or announcements from LEGO on how they come to land on prices like this, because I can make up whatever reason I want most of the time, but this is just this is ridiculous. I don't get it, you don't get it, no one else seems to be buying this, no one cares for this except for me because we get a brand new Yoda. The set overview here is a Jedi Temple that's never been designed in LEGO before, believe it or not. Yeah, this is true, this is the first time we've ever had one. You get a training dummy thing, a speeder as well, definitely a lot for kids here. I needed to justify this purchase somehow, so here's a belated review. This is the training droid that's included in the set, one of 2 training items supplied. This is the kind of build that I would love to see in some of those advent calendars actually, just FYI LEGO design team. The design is pretty simple and the build is as well, but it gets the idea across nicely. The astromech head sits on a translucent brick to appear as though it floats, and it includes a lightsaber piece for the younglings to practice taking a swing at it. Spins pretty well, it's nice. This is the speeder that's included, and as far as junior speeders go, we've actually had our fair share of this. It keeps the same design structure as the regular playset speeders, but it does so with larger pieces, and it omits those smaller parts that would lead into some nice details. I liked the look of this from the promo, but in person it's not so hot, which is a little disappointing, because the junior speeders are usually okay actually for me. This isn't to say that it's bad, I've just seen better. Stylistically, it reminds me of the Anakin speeder from the Attack of the Clones sets, and building technique wise, a junior set and an old 2000s LEGO set aren't actually that far off. Lys is shown to be the one that's driving the speeder, and she sits down at the front end here. The speeder is actually big enough to be able to fit all 3 minifigures included in the set, which is a bonus actually. That's a really cool feature. This is the balanced training area, which we've kind of seen in some other LEGO Star Wars sets before actually, but usually it's a display thing, it's not a play feature. It's pretty simple here. The crates can sit on this Technic piece and it's on a swivel. You can have a crack at rearranging them other ways if you would like to. You can also place a figure on here, which I've done with Kai. It's okay, there's not a whole lot that you can do with it though. But it doesn't matter, because the main draw here is the temple building and the figures, so here we are. As I mentioned, this is the first time that we've ever had a Jedi Temple as a LEGO set. Is it crazy that it's a Disney Junior's Kids show that is the cause of the first ever LEGO Star Wars Jedi Temple set? No, if you stop and think for a moment, it's pretty in character of LEGO that this is exactly how this would go down. I actually like this part of the build though. Having seen all of the builds now, I can say that I really love the color scheme chosen for this. We don't actually get a whole lot of Star Wars buildings anymore, and when we do, we certainly don't get them as this castle-like structure with lots of browns and greens to build the base. Takodan is still one of my favorite LEGO Star Wars sets of all time for this very reason. There are 4 different types of plant life used throughout this set. None of them are new, but it's good variety to help the set stand out. This is a junior set, so the stickers are gone and printed parts are replaced. For those who wanted to make their own Jedi Temple, this set actually includes a lot of really cool printed parts, but more on those special pieces later. There's a floating rock here, which is usually how the Force balance is included in LEGO Star Wars sets. There's nothing inside the rock, however, which I feel is like a missed opportunity personally. A Kyber crystal could have been a nice addition. Oh, but that's because the Kyber crystal is actually included as an item on display in the temple itself. This temple actually reminds me of like a scout's den. There's a crystal up top, and nearby is a bunk bed and a kitchen. I guess Kai and Lys live here for training, or maybe Yoda does, either or. Kitchen's pretty simple, looks like it includes some blue milk and a frying pan. The bed is brutally simple and it looks really cold and hard. The set makes for a pretty cozy little area, but now I need to take it apart so I can show you those cool elements. This is the brick that has the Jedi insignia printed on it. The set is from a kids show that is set a few hundred or so years before the Phantom Menace. It's not quite Old Republic by, say, a few thousand or so years, but it is the closest that we've had in LEGO recently at least. And look at this thing, this is what makes up most of that build. This wall features some room for some window panes, and those window panes have printed brick designs and some moss on them as well. Looks really nice, and I'm expecting to see this entire segment used in a lot more sets in the future. So now it's time for those minifigures, genuinely the reason for keeping this set from immediate obscurity. This is Kai Brightstar, who I think is the lead of the show. He features all new parts, and for that, he's pretty great. Everything about the figures are exclusive to the set except for their legs. All 3 legs pieces have been used elsewhere. I really love cartoons adapted into Lego, and what are the chances that we ever see this guy in anything else? I really do and do not like that hairpiece. For starters, it's an entirely new hairpiece of a style that is very common in real life, so it's great to have it finally in Lego, but the sides are supposed to be significantly more trimmed than this hairpiece would lead you to believe. You can see in the reference images for Kai here, I believe they went with this option instead because the hairpiece just doesn't work if it's made accurately in Lego, because the plastic on the sides would be too thin. I've come around on it a little bit since the images were first released, but I'm still not 100% sold on it, sorry. It looks like he's wearing a helmet. His torso's great, I have no complaints there. The cape is really cool as well, and it's not been released in any other sets. He has some nice back printing as well. But let's talk about his hands. The green hands just look downright weird, especially compared to his flesh tone. The reason for this is because he does in fact have green gloves in the show, but they're fingerless gloves. Lego have still never made fingerless gloves on hands before, and I would love for a designer to tell us all why they won't make dual molded hands to give us fingerless gloves. But that's why these are distractingly bright green. They went with the color of his gloves over just his regular flesh hands. A double-sided face as well, pretty good use of expressions. Look, Kai Brightstar is a cool figure, and I appreciate that he gives us some really nice new pieces, but the inaccuracy of it all it throws it all off for me, sorry. This is Lys Solay. Lego pretty much aced it on this figure, but the legs are a downside. Get to that in a sec. She's got one of the most expressive cartoon faces that I think I've ever seen in a Lego set before, a double-sided face as well, mimicking a classic anime expression. Her hair is a new mold that is not very useful outside of weird sci-fi characters, but it is a cool piece that's accurate to this figure. She has a lot of gold on her with her saber and her cape, which adds to that kinda Old Republic flair that I was mentioning. But her legs are a downside, and it's the same issue that Kai has. It's just that Kai has significantly more worrying features than just his legs, so his legs are able to sweep on by and avoid my criticisms. But Liz is a really great figure, so the poor effort in the legs stands out a lot more. Basically, because Lego don't want to do dual molding on little or midi-scaled legs, which they have done before mind you, they decide to pick one solid color for the figures. So, do they go with the color of her pants or the color of her boots? The figure is great nonetheless though. Here is the controversial inclusion of a Master Yoda figure like we've never seen him before. This practically is an Old Republic edition of that character, and the first time that we've had a new Yoda mold since about 9 years, I want to say, maybe 8. It's been a while at the very least. The stylized head immediately reminds us of the Clone Wars show, which I thought Lego was trying to ignore with these new Disney kids shows, but here we are, back to some weird Clone Wars stylization. I really like the appearance of this figure actually. His shade of green is a lot brighter than we're used to with Yoda, and his robes make him feel more royal than usual, which again is why I say this feels like an Old Republic era character. He includes a cookie and his lightsaber. He's really cool. It's nice to see a brand new Yoda. It is a junior set, so the instructions are the really annoying one step every 2 pages kind of deal. They're also split up, one for speeder, one for training, and one for the actual building. These sets are not made for you and I, so I try not to get too frustrated at the really slow building, but it's tough. There is an advertisement for the sets that released from January to now in the instructions. I haven't seen that X-Wing or TIE Fighter in a very long time though. The box is pretty stylish as well. It's very bright with those yellows and it looks really cool. The back shows off some of those features that I have hopefully been able to provide to you. Overall, this is a decently made set for kids with some excellent minifigures and nice usage of some parts, even some brand new ones that I think look really great. The set is also 75 NZ dollars, which for me is able to cover 3, maybe 4 decently made dinners. I'm talking fruits, veggies, complex carbohydrates, proteins, everything. The higher Lego prices go, the more I start to consider genuine life issues over buying this. So in that regard, the set's terrible. Thank you very much for watching. Hey, liking and subscribing helps to support this channel, did you know? We have more videos like this one releasing, so make sure you're notified. Ka kite.